All right, we'll give everybody a couple of minutes here to join, and we'll start promptly. Yep, and if there are any questions, feel free to type them in, and we'll either address them as we go through or at the end of the session. All right, I think we'll get started, and those that join, we'll catch them up as they catch up. So, with that, I am John Hine. I'll be your host today. I am a cloud specialist with US Signal, and what I do almost all day in, all day out is work with customers to help them understand Nutanix, learn if it's a good fit for them and their organization, talk through multi-cloud strategies with them, and have a lot of fun doing it. So with me today, I'm pretty excited to have Param Shibaniani, cloud services solutions provider architect with Nutanix, with us, but I'll let him do a further intro to himself, and then we'll go from there. So Param.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thank you for having me here and having Nutanix join the summit. So I'm Param Shivaniani, as John noted. I've been with Nutanix for just about 4 years. I do have tenure with John in the past. We worked together during the one neck years. Been in the
Guilty,
industry
yes.
for for 20 years in the service provider industry. Go way back prior to that, early days of VMware's inception of the Cloud Director product for service providers. So thank you for having me here today. Looking forward to discussing kind of what we're doing here at Nutanix and obviously all the different cloud options that exist out there.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Param. So a little bit about, I want to say US Signal, just a brief overview of what we've been doing with Nutanix. So our journey started in early 2019 with full productization launch in July of 2019 on a platform that we named Relia Cloud. So that is our brand of a Nutanix powered by platform. So all the software driving our IaaS services are coming from Nutanix, and we've been having some really great success with this from 2019 forward. Sure, we've learned a lot of lessons and have seen a tremendous amount of evolution and improvement. And one of the most exciting things that happens in the Nutanix environment is the constant release of new features and enhancements and improvements to the platform. So that's been really great. And what it's allowed us to do at US Signal is I think we are right on the cusp of delivering our 100th private cloud to our customers. So can't wait to officially breach that mark. I do expect it's coming pretty soon with the amount of success that we've been having lately. And thanks to our customers for believing us and joining the Nutanix journey. So one of the great things that we have here is, of course, Param's with us. And Param, you were recently at the Nutanix sales kickoff for the start of your new fiscal year. Any new updates or exciting things happening there?
Yeah, you summed it nicely, John. Yeah, I mean we move fast at Nutanix. So one of the things, yeah, we just had a sales kickoff last week. It was a intense week of meetings from the sales teams and one of the new phrases which we'll even see in the content is we're moving to being a one platform company. So basically we're kind of positioning ourselves as a full platform stack that consists of a lot of different aspects of our software and our portfolio. But as our portfolio is widening, we're seeing a lot of adoption with cloud native and AI, a lot of talking around successes that we see in the business there, and the other catchphrase that came out of our sales kickoff was the term move, and no pun intended to our product, which we use for migrations called Move. But this is about moving fast and moving agile, and working with our partners, being that we are a partner first company. We only sell through our partners, and so it was a great kickoff, a lot of momentum, and this was kind of in Q2 of last year. These were kind of our latest numbers. Obviously, we're into the new fiscal year, so we're looking at our phenomenal net promoter score that we've maintained for over a decade at 90 plus. I think our AHV adoption percentages are over 80% now, and we're about to approach 29,000 customers. And that number we feel is going to continue to accelerate with what's happening in the market.
That's just awesome watching that growth. And I've been riding this journey with you for a long time, and it's been great to see this come to play. But I'm kind of guessing that there may have been some other topics at the conference, maybe a little turbulence in the marketplace with some of our favorite virtualization platforms.
Yeah, that topic has been front and center for 18 months now, right? With all the
Yep.
changes. A lot of stuff going on. Like, we have um from the perspective of the of what's happening with Broadcom, et cetera. Um, we're a company and platform of choice. I think that's been one of the historical terms at Nutanix. So we have incentives for customers to join our platform to kind of reduce the friction. A term that I think we use in the industry called double bubble right now around contract terms and not having to pay for two software components. And we offer that both to our customers and to our partners, to our service provider partners. So we've got some creative incentives to kind of reduce friction, take some of the challenges and some of the edges off, maybe not just the technical portion of the investment that you have to go through, but also the commercial component of the investment that you have to go through when you make these decisions on
Sure.
picking your cloud platform.
Yeah. So if we think about ways that Nutanix can help in this journey, let's say you are an existing Broadcom customer, you would like a option or a strategy to go with. What are some of the default motions that a customer might choose to do? Um, you know, it, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so when you think of, so if you're a customer, whether you're an end customer or a partner, the thing about VMware as a platform, I mean, nothing great platform over the years, over multiple decades. I've been on them since the late 90s
everybody's running
myself.
it or has run it, right? Yeah,
Yeah, everyone's been running it. I mean, it's a great platform. Their stack of software I mean, everyone's relied on it. And I think what we've seen over decades is everyone attacked it from a hardware perspective. They change vendors, they change, but they never changed or looked at the platform itself because quite frankly, there was really nothing else. So, the options that we kind of discuss with partners is, one or so for customers, it's really you can stay the course because you commercially can. Obviously, if you're a
sure.
service provider, you no longer can if you're not on the list of 100 or so partners that are out there. Um, One way to mitigate your risk is you look at a dual vendor strategy, and there's a conversation on the means of having two vendors and what that means to you from an operational and cost perspective. And that's applicable both to a commercial customer and to a service provider.
Yeah,
There's obviously looking at us at Nutanix. There's many reasons to look at us, which we'll be discussing on the why Nutanix story. And then there's multiple other options out there between open source, um, public cloud, other hypervisor focused products. So there's choices. In many question is really when you look at the calamity of all of it together is how do you manage the commercial motion, the choices, technical debt or technical investment combination of the two, training, you know, uh, and basically if you're a partner, then you have to look at your entire sales motion and everything else too, right?
yeah.
So it's a lot of change and potentially a lot of churn with that change. And so when we broach this subject with either customers or partners, we're like, well, look, here's what we see the landscape to look like.
Yeah, yeah. And then, as customers and other service providers are considering relationships with, additional vendors, maybe bringing a new platform into the portfolio or a full-on, shift of platform. Um, VMware's catalog was huge, right? Tons of features, tons of products. Um, Tell me a little bit about the enterprise readiness of Nutanix. I know that's a bit of a baited question, but at the same time, I think it's good to cover some of the core components of what's out there in case somebody hasn't seen a Nutanix portfolio slide. And man, this thing continues to evolve as well.
It does, and what I would tell you is, this content is literally evolving regularly. When we
Yeah,
think of portfolio, like if you're a service provider and you come from the old VCPP days of VMware, which, right now we could say it's old because it's been some years that it's passed now, right? But if you're in that program, you really have your base product and a bunch of different SKUs and points, as we would used to call it, that you can
yeah,
add additional services. So as a partner, you got to monetize the platform in the way you wanted to build your services. With the changes that happened, roughly 18 months past, it became one SKU and that was really your only option. So the trade-off and the cost is you pretty much have to sink all the cost in, whether you decide to productize it or not, and ultimately you're transferring that cost to the customer. So most of us from the industry would look at that as an increase, right? In
yep,
our world, with our program, what we call an ESPP, which is Nutanix Service Provider Program or Elevate Service Provider Program, we kind of have a version of the old program that VMware used to have, which is we have multiple SKUs. Those SKUs have different meter types. So there's some SKUs that have core-based meters, some SKUs have VM-based meters, some SKUs have storage-based meters, and you have the option to build use those SKUs around your core business, and then if you want, also expand your core business of services around the SKUs we offer. So our goal is to help the partners build their to focus and not only transition the business that they have around the core business, and then look at what they want to do beyond that, where you don't have to bury it all into a single SKU. So optionality does matter, choice does matter, and we want to give all those options to the partner. And when we think of the enterprise stack, and if we think of the VMware stack in general, it was their service provider business was built on core enterprise readiness. When you think of the stack, whether that's VCF today or the program prior, it's really built on vSphere Enterprise Plus, vCenter, and all those things before you slap anything like VCD or anything else on top. And in the world of Nutanix, it's very similar. We look at our core platform with the cloud infrastructure, our cloud manager. Inside of those platforms, we have, operational tools, networking, et cetera, that can go up to scale, can do performance, can be resilient, can have all those, what we call core enterprise features that you need to run your business on. Things like cross cluster live migrations, the ability to do hot additions, hot moves, those types of things that
yep.
really become core elements of operational excellence, for lack of a better word. Those are critical components that you need when you're basically saying, hey, I'm going to operate a platform and I'm going to put all my customers inside of it and I'm going to operate with SLAs.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we've really been able to embrace leveraging I'll call it the core catalog as a modular based way to build products and services with a solution set, including projects that are just storage based, files, objects, even block level services in the mix, and then all kinds of different use cases like you see here on the slide: edge, private cloud, putting it in public clouds, which I'm going to latch onto that in just a second here. Desktop as a service, even a database in a service, which I think was something that VMware didn't have in their catalog. I think that's a Nutanix only type of option, giving you that additional management plane to dive in and run database environments, and of course all of your native container based solutions coming out with Kubernetes and so on that have been out and have actually evolved massively. So that could be a whole other session in itself, or multiple sessions in itself.
Indeed.
Um, I don't know if everybody knows that Nutanix is not just a on-premise based solution, but something that also can be run in other clouds. What other types of options are there to really embrace that multi-cloud style deployment?
Yeah, so the beauty of Nutanix is we are a multi-hybrid cloud platform. So what that really means is you can obviously, if you're a customer, you can own your own assets, run our software on it. You can now run them on in Azure and AWS, and we also have Google Cloud coming out as well here real soon. But you can run it on their metal, so you can basically move your entitlement, your licenses from A to B. We have other hosting partners as well, bare metal partners that are out there that you could run this, run our software on. We have our
Sure.
service providers like US Signal, like you guys, where you could run our software on both.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for
and
the
again,
plug.
we give our partners optionality. We don't tell our partners, hey, if you're a service provider, you can't be a reseller, or if you're a reseller, you can't be a service provider. Just like you guys at US Signal, you guys actually do both. You provide
Yes,
your
we do.
customers the option to own the entitlement or have you guys operate it for them in a cloud model. So yeah, we our platform is portable. So we don't necessarily care where the software runs, and we give customers and customers to our partners the ability to modally move and execute the software wherever that best meets and fits their business and technical needs.
Yeah, that license portability, I think, is just absolutely critical when you're looking at a multi-cloud strategy. How do you do it without it, right?
Right.
Or
Right.
having to refactor on two sides. Maybe we can go on and on about that, but yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
and look, we've seen scenarios where, a customer or a direct customer comes to a service provider and leadership changes. They had a relationship with AWS, for instance, and now they have a new relationship with Azure. Are they
Yeah,
going to literally, go in a pure cloud model, move everything over, and go through that transformation? Because if you're actually taking native workloads from one cloud to another, you're doing a full transformation activity. If
yeah,
you're running it in the Nutanix stack, it's simply just standing up the new platform and then just doing a DR failover at that point. It's as simple as that, right?
yeah,
So these are the types of scenarios and use cases that come up, and we feel like we're a great platform to provide that modality for those situations as they present themselves. And I think, more often than not, they do present themselves.
yeah. Something that this particular graphic does not display is the integrations that you've done with
Yeah.
ISVs. What does that count look like today, roughly?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we've seen this, literally shoot up like a hockey stick as of the last 18 months or so. So we're roughly about 1,500 plus ISV integrations with our partners, and we're seeing that kind of roughly around 60 a month right now. We really cannot put, we can't put enough resources into the integrations just
Yeah,
because all the partners are reaching out to us, looking to get their software portfolios integrated with Nutanix. So the momentum is significantly picked up, and we feel like that's going to continue to pick up for the you know for the for between now and the not too distant future. I don't see any changes in those integrations at all.
yeah,
I think the partners are leaning towards us, and we're doing the best we can to do as many as we can.
yeah. Speaking of timelines, what do you think from the service provider landscape? What do you think their timeline is for most of them to have to make a decision if they weren't elected into the new service provider, back into the service provider program?
It's a great question,
Equal
John.
part of the club. Yeah,
We've been just running crazy right now.
yeah,
What we've seen is roughly 18 months ago, the first set of changes occurred, um, and we had a huge set of partners reach out to us. And as of about a month ago or so, approximately, there were more changes done to the per to the Broadcom VCSP program. They've kind of reduced the partner base down to roughly 100 plus global partners. Um, and so what we're seeing is a lot of these partners now might have looked at maybe a dual vendor strategy before. Now they're really coming to us hard and saying we got to be out 18 months or so, approximately, right around that 18-month mark where a lot of their contracts are. Um, and they're reaching out to us looking at, can we really give you guys a hard look? And now really the conversation is about timelines, right? Something that you and I
yeah,
experienced back in 2018 and 19 is well, how do you go through, you know, do you have time to select a vendor, evaluate a vendor, stand it up, get your teams to
yeah,
start investing, and then ultimately go to production ready and start migrations, deal with customer contracts around migrations. the unfortunate reality is you don't have that end date, and then you can sit there and say, well, I'll buy another month, or I'll buy another month until my migrations are done. You kind of have a hard cutoff now. Um, so I talk about this all the time right now, almost, you know, multiple times a day, to be honest
Yeah,
with you. These are not easy discussions. I mean, at the end of the day, because you know, you and I lived it back in the 2018-19 timeframe, and
yeah,
I
we did
think,
all the things to vet that
yeah,
process. I mean,
there's so many things, right, to
right.
consider. And of course, you have to think of the customer, your SLAs, you know, could there be compression involved? You got to be really careful right now. And unfortunately, you know, being careful and being meticulous and mixing risk, those things all imply time, which at the other end, you don't have an infinite amount of time. So it's a very sensitive topic right now, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So if I was a service provider, let me advance the slide here. Oops, I really jumped. 1 second. Here we go. So why Nutanix for service providers?
Yeah, great question. So why Nutanix, right? So I mean, I think, you know, Nutanix, we've been slowly investing. I've been with the, you know, with the team for 4 years. I kind of transitioned from the what I would call the corporate team into our Americas team, primarily because we've just seen such a massive, you know, growth opportunity for us here in the service provider program. So we've kind of, you know, service providers are have become a priority route to market in our in sales motion here at Nutanix. So that's a big thing. Uh, you know, down to the point where our CEO Rajiv Razami, you know, he on investor calls, he's basically said we're investing in the program. We're continuing to, you know, looking at this as a priority route to market. So it's really from our leadership, it's been, you know, we have a commitment to continue to grow into the service provider business. Um, you know, we have a large our service provider, you know, footprint globally is growing. I think we have some content we can show on that. But that number continues to grow. I think as you brought up, John, we have a broad product offering
Yep.
around our service providers. So it's not just one SKU. You can monetize in many different ways or form. We don't have a, you know, we don't to be a partner, you don't have to sign a minimum commit contract. You can come in. We do the contract mechanics very differently than we do the partner enrollment. Um, um, and and I think lastly, you know, from a partner perspective, especially if you're coming from a platform that you've been in for a decade, maybe a
Yeah.
decade and a half, you know, it's complete transition to a whole new cloud. What does that mean? How do you get support? What kind of support are you signing up for? How do you know you're going to get follow around the sun support, you know, when you have to make the 2 a.m. call or the weekend call? Well, that's where, you know, we kind of strive at Nutanix. Our NPS score, you know, been 90 plus for over 10 years. You know, we have support data centers around the world covering our customers. And, um, and, you know, as we're approaching this large customer count and that continues to grow, these are areas we've made significant investments in. And I
Yeah.
think lastly, if you're looking at a platform, well, how does your team learn? Can your team get certified? These are all things that existed in the VMware portfolio, and we now have you know, we've had these things for a while. And that university that we have, it's free for partners. We obviously offer uh, options for in-person training, field, you know, class training. We have all those options. Our university for everybody is free. We do have proctor tests and exams. We have a full catalog of different exams you can get certified, you know,
Yeah.
for. And you know, we're getting to the top five of what those recognitions are for those certifications. So when you look at that
It
entire
gets better.
landscape,
Yes. Yeah.
right? So when you look at the entire landscape, I think that's the why. The why is we can give you a full turnkey solution from the product, from the support, from your training, um, you know, and the fact that our stack is enterprise ready.
Yeah.
Um, those are your options. And as you're
Yeah.
showing here, these are some of the labels, and you guys are right smack dab in the top corner there of US Signal. That's you know, you guys are a great partner, and over 500 plus global partners. Um, you know, the engagement is, we're not just a partner that is you're in our program and we're not engaging with you. We offer sales and marketing training. So
Yep.
depending on where you are in our programmatics, you have entitlements, training and certifications, access to all the technical resources. Um, Again, no minimum commit, and our tiering is competency based. And we're literally starting the new fiscal year. There's new program enhancements coming out. We'll have, competency badges for things like storage, for things like EUC. So customers will know our service providers and what their strengths are, and our service providers can get certified around those.
So we've been part of that program for quite some time now. Maybe a little self-promotion, but have achieved champion service provider status. I think it was well earned through a lot of productization of the Nutanix catalog, and all while having multiple options for our customers. We have the Rely Cloud platform built on Nutanix software. We have the Open Cloud platform, and from time to time we dabble with some Azure on the side too as well. But that's really been the three that we've gone to market with, and love having that flexibility for our customers. And then to have a program like Nutanix that's solid, that gives us the full enterprise stack of services. It's really been a compelling offering and an enjoyable, story to go out and take to the market. And the feedback is great, And so love that, and thank you for having this program. Um, so as a service provider, one of the things that I know has been asked for quite frequently is, how do I kind of get into the multi-tenancy space? And I'm curious
Yeah,
what
it's a great
has
question.
what has Nutanix been doing there? Or maybe even we start at some of the actual service provider offerings first, and
Right.
then jump into that multi-tenancy question, because that's the natural evolution. Private clouds are wonderful and they're great to distribute
Right.
out, but as a service provider, the economics, I think, are a little bit more interesting when you get into that dense multi-customer tenancy in the platform.
Yeah, great question. So, like, when you look at what we do, right? And so some of this, to your point, is as we evolve at Nutanix and we continue to evolve at Nutanix, you can now with Nutanix, you can achieve, whether it's private and dedicated or private and multi-tenant and shared, you can build those solutions now on top of our Nutanix platform and then productize it as we kind of see on the screen here, where you can have integrated services that are both single and multi-tenant. So you can build those services out, solution those
Yeah,
services down to the workload level, um, you know, which would include things like disaster recovery and snapshots. You can, run production and DR, and the beauty of it is you can kind of take uh, you can kind of solution a unified management plane that is both single and multi-tenant, and kind of combine those two depending on what the customer's needs are, and then stack on additional services, our capacity planning, cost governance, aka showback, chargeback type feature sets, observability into the platform, which kind of gives you helps towards operational excellence, both at the service provider level, and
yeah,
some of that also even at the end customer level. Um, and then when we look at the platform services, then you could look at stacking on platform services, i.e. Our container product, which we call NKE, NKP, depending on the stack, AI, and user computing, our own unified storage platform with files and objects. So we can give you one platform, which is kind of what this is really implying, with all the different SKUs to productize and monetize, and then
yeah,
you know grow your business, if you're a service provider, and basically maximize your opportunity while you're also, you know, reducing ultimately or keeping your cost at bay because you're not using multiple platforms, which you need to go through excellence and learning. You can kind of use this platform, whether for your teams, for patch management, for operational excellence, those types of things that,
yeah,
but for a service provider, all translate to cost and time.
yeah,
And um and so that's kind of one of the things, that, starting earlier this summer, we kind of now have the platform that is capable of handling both, private and multi-tenant. With our partners, they can solution either option.
Yeah, I know. It took a little while for the platform to evolve and to be able to embrace the multi-tenant feature sets and capabilities. What are some of the core software pieces that made that come together? You know, the core components that allowed you to have tenant separation with confidence that it's secure and performant and
Yeah, so we take again, our stack being enterprise ready. There's some things we do in Nutanix that's obviously different than other platforms.
yeah,
And so we kind of take the construct of infrastructure, we take the core aspects of infrastructure, networking, storage, um, you know, the AKA tenant construct for lack of a better word. And we
yep,
build isolation between them while we unify your ability to log in. Uh, and that's kind of what creates this tier of infrastructure separation. Um, and each implementation, as you know, can be different with service providers for their end customers. So it is a
yeah,
kind of a design and solution based offering, but that is kind of how you achieve it. And of course, couple that with role-based access and other things that need to be done.
yep.
Um, and
Network
uh, and
API
that's
design. Yeah,
so it's a bit of a transformation coming off of a platform like VMware or Cloud Director or whatever you're using. And honestly, any platform, because every implementation is slightly different. The good news with us is whether you're doing it that way or you're doing it private, we have one tool we call Move, and you can basically take all those workloads and hydrate them over to our platform
yep,
and kind of maintain the construct of the workloads, maintain the construct of like what that customer was accustomed to. And then when you wrap Prism on top, one of the beauties of our platform is the UI is fairly intuitive. And I guess, John, we can't discount the transformation there of customers coming from you know, accessing one platform, accessing another,
yeah,
and is how big of a change is that because they're doing things differently, right?
yep,
And the beauty with us is, we've put quite a bit of investment in the UI to make it simple. We use the word delight for lack of a better word here at
yep,
Nutanix, but it really just comes down to simplicity and intuitiveness. And we feel that our platform, our UI, UX is fairly intuitive to follow. So for whether you're a customer and customer, service provider with customers, that transition we feel will be fairly smooth.
yep.
Obviously, there'll need to be some documentation, some work with the customers, but feel that that is a fairly hopefully simple transition for customers moving from say VMware over to us.
Yeah. You mentioned the Prism is really the backbone of the entire multi-tenant experience, right? So you have to be able to separate out all that infrastructure, which might be in a single cluster behind the scenes, a single large cluster, multiple clusters, and then be able to deliver that securely to each of the tenants. And I've had a chance to see some of the previews of that platform, and it does exactly what it needs to. And one of the big challenges that I know, thinking back to, let's say, early 2019, there wasn't a way to really carve this stuff up. You kind of saw everything. Tenant A, B, and C had the same dashboard experience, the same look and feel, and there wasn't a way to segment and slot that out. But that's there now, and that's pretty exciting.
It's a journey, right?
Yeah,
As you know,
absolutely.
everything's a journey and we're evolving. And what we see here is a bit of a conceptual diagram of our
Yeah,
one platform solution with Prism, where you can kind of design and solution both single and multi-tenancy. The core constructs kind of go to what you and I were talking about. We take metadata, policies, RBAC, network, and kind of use this construct of a project. And that becomes your tenant. And then we also need to consider all the integrations because there's
true.
backups involved and third-party pieces, whether
Replications,
that's,
snapshots. Yeah,
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 all those things. And then, operational visibility, service management, those are all kind of integration points we have now right
yeah,
out of the platform. And look, really exciting things right now. This is a bit of a solution-based offering. For those interested, we do have a full roadmap for this, which you can reach out to me. and we can talk about those things like that in terms of what we're ultimately doing here at Nutanix. But what I would say is we're investing and we're starting to see some of those investments come to fruition in reality, and we're going
Yeah,
to continue to invest. We believe in this market. I mean, our CEO Rajiv has made that comment, and I think it's exciting times at Nutanix. We're really at a
yeah,
stage where, and I think John, you and I've talked about this. We're kind of 2008-ish, VMware programmatics and product. That's kind of where I feel like we are,
sure, yeah,
but we're at a point where we're heavily putting time and investment in it. Just our team here in America is, I mean, this team didn't exist a year ago. It
yeah,
exists now. Um, we have dedicated resources. We have a dedicated PM here at Nutanix now that is doing service provider, uh,
yeah,
product development and roadmap. So exciting times, I would say. Really, looking forward to what this looks like over the next couple of years. And I feel like over the next couple of years, it'll be kind of a hockey stick.
yeah. It'd be exciting to see the service providers that start to embrace the multi-tenancy in the platform in the coming, I'll say, quarters. Um,
Yeah.
and be able to leverage that to create brand new products and solutions. I think it's going to be a really exciting evolution, and to have it all start, let's say, even the service provider concept was maybe 2018 early in the environment, and
Yeah.
to now see that being fully embraced with a formalized program, specialist roles for it, and so on. And then you still have the full backing of the entire organization, and the support model doesn't change for this. So this is really a cool net new technology, and I look forward to um, what we'll be able to do with this in the coming months.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to what you guys are going to do with it and us working with you guys to embrace and kind of continue your evolution at Signal in terms of your product and portfolio offerings, and now being able to look at this as an option too with your
Yeah,
customers and potentially even small partners.
perfect. Yeah, I guess with that, any other parting thoughts or comments on this? You think?
Yeah, I mean, all I would say, for those, again,
Yeah,
for those who are interested, feel free to reach out to myself, obviously to John.
yeah,
He's equally a subject matter expert on most of this over the years. We've been working together for quite a bit of time. Um, I would say that, US Signal's a great partner. If you're looking for a partner, um, they're a phenomenal partner. I think 700 plus nodes of Nutanix in their ecosystem
it's
today,
cranky. Yeah, yeah,
hundreds of 100 customers plus growing. A phenomenal team over there that operates this platform. From an operations perspective, the engineering team, the front end sales team, everyone just a phenomenal team. And at Nutanix, we're going to continue to invest in what we're doing. We invest in our partners. Again, that we are a partner first company. We do not sell directly to customers, and we're really happy to have US Signal to be our partner. And what I would say is there's a lot of choices that are out there.
absolutely.
In
Yeah,
Nutanix, we do believe in choice, but you know we feel that here when you're looking at the entire solution end to end, from the product, from the portfolio, from the offering to support, training, and everything, we kind of have a compelling case of having a platform that can give you everything if you're a partner, and if you're a customer, equally the same.
yeah, yeah. I would call it the closest competitor to a full feature stack that VMware has. I mean, like for careful with the words like for like, but I would say feature parity as you go through. There are also
Yeah.
always subtle nuances between the way one technology is implemented versus another. But for the business tasks that are necessary there and the specific technologies that are there, the alignment is fantastic. I don't think any of the other platforms are anywhere near the realm of where you have what VMware and Nutanix have kind of positioned next to each other.
Yeah, and we're continuing to grow. I mean, one of the things at Nutanix was, we didn't have an external storage option, but that's changed. We went GA with PowerFlex back in the May timeframe, and
Yeah,
the kind of the second best known secret or best unknown secret is that we're partnered with Pure, and that's going to be GAing here towards bottom half of this year,
I
and
expect
I think that
more on the roadmap
evolution,
too.
yeah, I think the evolution will continue over time on kind of what this
Yeah,
looks like. So, we are growing in many ways at Nutanix to give customers and partners
yeah,
options for what they're doing, and that's what's exciting about Nutanix. A lot of things are happening at the same time here, John. It's
yeah.
infrastructure, our programmatics, the development that's going on. Um, it's exciting times.
Cool. Well, with that, I don't see any questions in the chat. We do have a minute or two if there are any that want to pop up. Give it a
Yeah,
second. Yeah. All right. And with that, of course, thank you so much for joining us today, representing everything at Nutanix and the portfolio and the service provider program that you and I have worked so much on over the years. And it's been a really exciting journey, and I just can't wait to see where it goes next.
yeah. Thank you for having me, John. Really appreciate having this session, not with just anybody, but with you. You and I've worked together for quite a few years, so I felt like this was not just a session where it's an interview where, it's just you and I talking as friends, talking about what the
Yeah,
journey's been and where things are going. And, I'm really excited to see where you guys are going and what we can continue to work with you guys on in the market. Looking at, you know, you guys embracing kind of what we're doing with the portfolio and the
yeah.
platform, and kind of continuing the evolution at Signal around your offering.
Yeah. And to the audience, certainly feel free to reach out to either Parm or myself. We're pretty easy to find on LinkedIn or through the corporate websites, and we'd love to help you embrace a multi-cloud journey, help you find the right technology, whether it's Nutanix or another platform, such as OpenCloud. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
With that, I think
we all talk about choice here, so it's all about
absolutely
choice, and this
it is a
this is about,
choice world. Yeah,
it's a choice world, and it's about, customers and their cloud options and what makes the most sense for them.
perfect, cool. All right. Well, with that, thank you very much. And then here's a preview of what's coming up for the rest of the day today. So feel free to jump into some of these other sessions that I think are all pretty exciting. Got some good content here and some great speakers. Thanks again.
Thank you.